today.
Hey man, bro, we are back for another week, third band week. I ain't gonna lie, bro, a little light this week as far as the
Yes,
competitions, the battles. It was hard for me to find videos. It was hard for me to, what I'm saying, get some content. What you think about this week, in the band matchup world?
man, this is the week that everyone's out playing PWIs or having games off, so we looking real skint,
Right,
especially in major conferences. So we definitely had to, go out and look for these clips this week, man. I just
definitely.
had the same experience as you did, like look for some what's there, what's out
Right,
there, to find what's going out in the band world. But we still got a little something.
definitely. I was about to say we still have some good matchups for this week. Okay, so every week we have a theme that
Right.
ties in the episode. Last week was trim the fat. This week it is, are you competing?
Mm.
Are you
Okay.
competing? Are you competing? And I we have some matchups that made me think about it, because HBCU band is a sport, and I want to make sure that we that we stress this. Of course, we love cranking up, we love the whole thing, and I think that can get lost in the decorum of our school sometimes.
Okay.
But I feel like, I just want to make sure that that be known. So that is the theme of the day. Okay, okay. Let's let's get into it. What you want? What battle you want to get into first?
Let's get into Miles UAPB.
Yes.
The reason I want to get into this one first is because Miles and UAPB had matchups last week in
Hmm.
which, from what I remember, we felt that they came up short in.
Yes.
So I think this is a good redemption match for each of them,
Yes.
and see what they got going on this week.
Yeah. I was thinking the same thing, man. Like Miles to me showed up a lot better than they did this week. Um, uh, a lot better, a lot clearer to me. I feel like they had a lot better confidence. Um, I feel like they took it, but I
Hmm.
think that Miles needs to focus on they tubas and their trumpets. Their
Yeah.
trumpets really, man, are getting like washed. Great mellows, by the way. Mellows and trombones are really good. UFOs are okay, but their trumpets really are getting washed. But to me, they came back this week a lot better with a lot better energy. UAPB, bro, I'm not gonna lie to you. I do not like this band. I do not like this band. I'm watching these clips, trying to get some redeeming quality from these bands, like from this band in particular,
Hmm.
and I just can't get it. A lot of their music is choppy, is
Yeah.
super elementary, like super elementary. I'm like, yo, and they got the numbers. They got the numbers. They bigger than Miles, But I feel like Miles really diversified their book that night, and to me, they really did very well. But yeah, what you think?
I agree with you on a lot of those points. I think Miles really came out and added more energy and clean up their music as far as covering over mistakes. I heard a lot less mistakes this week, and I felt like they felt the music more. It seemed to just gel so much better. Even with some of the selections that they did against Alabama State, just seemed to gel a lot better here. So shout out to them for improving. I just want to give them their props for getting better as the season goes along. UAPB, I also thought they did a bit better this week. Now, it wasn't too much for me to write home about as far as what I would like to see them be in a program. I feel like they can be, just based on what I hear, what they can be. Um, but there was some nice selections. I really liked that saving all my love for you that they played. I thought that
Mhm.
was real cool.
Yeah.
It sounded really good. Miles, man, I think Miles really came with a diverse book and took the fifth for me. Had a lot
Mhm.
of different things going on. Adding to my list of things I really don't want to hear after this week is the
Oh, what's that? Give it to
uh
me.
what's her name? They go "Buddha, da, da,
I
da, da,
knew you were gonna say that. You
da,
talking
da."
about "On My Mama"? That
Yes.
song. I knew,
Um,
bro. When I heard that, I said this has been an "On My Mama" type of season. But hearing the song mixes with the Outcast song
yeah.
that a lot of bands are playing. So yeah, that's interesting. But yeah, that's another one that we're gonna hear a lot this season. It's "On My Mama"
Yeah.
by Victoria Monet. A
Yeah.
song that I thought was good from Miles too. A good standout was "Sweet Release." Uh,
Mm-hmm.
was by, but I that's the name of the song. Great song choice, great energy, perfect example of like changing the mood. Like they yelled out, "Hey, UAPB, stop playing rap tunes," which and then they played that song, which was a great song like to come by. But like we always talk about changing the mood. Like of course we in a rap heavy genre, you know what I'm saying, like hip hop, we're black, we get it. But sometimes that like no for real, we need that like switch because it gets annoying. Just triplets into a tuba break and repeat over again. You know, we want to hear something that's like groovy. And I feel
Mhm.
like Miles did a good job with the the balance and the setting the tone for the band for this battle. There were some times that UAPB wanted them to like jump on like they played a ballad, or they would play like like they tried to get
Mhm.
control, and Miles really shut them down. And that's just just staff and somebody knowing what to do. So shout out to Miles. Took the battle, good battle for UAPB though. I really feel like they got to like get in it kind of.
Right. I, I'm posing a question to you.
Yeah,
How, as band culture, HBC band culture being its own thing, right? How should how much should we allow the quality of outside genres of music, let's say hip hop, rap, dictate what we put out there in our programs and organizations? Because like bands have off years, music genres have off years and slow
right.
years.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and with hip hop, this is my first year ever hearing people kind of question the state of rap in the sense of how long are we going to continue with this type of sound and with this type of thing. So it's
Hmm.
really interesting to hear. Like, but we definitely heard these bands, and of course, as the years have changed with band, the within music, bands have changed. The
Right.
HBC band has changed. So it's interesting to see. Obviously, like with the rise of Afrobeats, we see a lot of bands playing those type of songs, and those songs are more recognizable and kind of better to play for a marching band because it has a lot more live instrumentation in the recording of the songs. So yeah, man. I mean, as it changes, that's why Southern was so big to me around like 2013 or whatever, because they kind of
Yeah.
adopted the new style of rap and how it was going. So yeah, man, I'm just more excited to see how it goes.
Hmm.
Um, you know, but song, yeah, to me, song of that battle, sweet release. Anything else for UAPB and Miles?
No, I think that's all. That's all I got for them. Shout out to them. Both bands did a good job. I think it was a pretty. If you're looking at both bands, it was pretty balanced.
Yeah,
It didn't seem like going into the battle, even like off the first couple songs, that it was gonna be like a landslide. So
yeah,
I think it was a good matchup for this season.
yeah. Shout out to both bands. Okay, moving on, moving on. Okay, I want to pose you a question that's
Okay.
um not related to any of the battles. We'll get back into the battles in a minute. Okay, so everybody's talking about Deion Sanders, right?
Yeah.
At Colorado. Obviously, we talked about him last year being at Jackson State. How he, obviously it's a marching band show, so we're talking about how the influx of people at these games are bringing in a lot of people versus Jackson State and yeah, right? Great. He goes to Colorado. I don't know how you feel about him leaving, but to me, it is what it is. He's at the next place. Cool. So people were joking about the band at Colorado being whack and compared them to the Boom, saying that they're corny. They can't do what the Boom does. He's gonna say play my theme music and it's gonna be corny, yada yada. Did you know that at Colorado they actually hired somebody within the band program to bring more of like an HBCU sound or like style to the band? They literally just hired
Wow.
somebody. That's
Hmm.
crazy, and that goes to the influence of HBCU bands. But how does that about the doesn't Colorado band have a history? Like I don't care if this I don't care if this nigga coming in here. Hey, don't hey, we got our own thing. He can change the football team. I just thought about that, like because when I listen to the games, you hear a lot more recognizable songs. And I don't think Colorado's band was doing that last year. Like I
Hmm.
mean, recognizable songs like newer songs or like more swaggy songs. Whereas a lot of those bands just play like kind of the hack or normal or typical songs that marching bands play at a big Power Five type game. So what do you
Right.
think about that? Like people
Right.
the influence of HBCU bands that he has to that has to follow him in a way.
Right. I see both sides to it because it's like my HBC side. It's like why in the world would you do that or try to replicate or manufacture something that's homegrown to a traditionally HBCU background and recreate it there? And then also see like Colorado's looking like, dang, we have to get with the culture to keep ourselves as a big place for recruitment.
Right.
And I mean, I've seen it firsthand going to Jackson State. People came to it always puzzled my mind. People wanted to go to a school with a good band and had no interest in participating in the band, learning the instrument or anything. They just wanted the school that they band was at to be good. So I mean, I've definitely heard that before. To me, I want to see what happens. What else they do with it, you know? I want to see what happens. What else they do with it, because they can never be replicated of what HBCU does. It's just not in the soul or the DNA of the institution to be the same type of quality. It's just not going to be.
It can't happen unless they get some of these band members in the transfer portal and they can switch over like these players. It is not happening, yo. Because I mean, like, we know tradition runs deep, and we talk about identity a lot. We talk about, like, you know, that's big for a program, and it carries through. You know what I'm saying? Like, because to me, there's always been a time where the band has been good. Like, if you go back to any band, I think that there can be spots where the band was probably excelling at a high level, and that's where the alumni pull their tradition from, those best years. And if it's not the same style, it's like, what, you know what I'm saying? They band may have an identity crisis because of Coach Prime. So I thought that was an interesting conversation. All right, moving on. So look, I only really have one more battle.
Me too.
Okay, so we're on the same page. Okay, that's Florida Memorial versus Grambling. Right. Okay. First of all, I like Florida Memorial. They're a new program. I didn't like their performance in this battle. But they made me think about our theme, which is, are you competing? Right? Because though I did not like, I would say, the song choice, and you can tell they have an old band director too. Very much so, which we talk about a lot. Like, that influences the music, you know what I'm saying? Because the band director, when they were, you know, this is the time that they like, so they're going to kind of push it in man. But to me, Florida Memorial, they were competing, but they didn't connect to me all the way, as far as like with the song choices. Like, they were competing, meaning like their energy was there. Best believe, there to me, like, they were on the same page as a program. But to me, it didn't really connect as an audience member, you know. So I could tell they were competing. That's what made me think, like, wow, they really are competing. Like, this is a band that's good. You know, you can tell they have a good sense of their identity, but it didn't fully connect. What you think about Florida Memorial and Graham?
Our overall thought, it was a really good battle. I enjoy both bands, man. Both bands really surprised me with the quality of their sound this time around. I thought they both sounded really great. Florida Memorial, let's talk about their style a little bit.
Yeah.
After watching the video, I took a look at some of the comments, and they was really comparing it to FAMU and Bethune. Right. I hear something a little different there for me, just far as the arranging is different, and I feel like they play with more style. The style of play is a little bit different. Right. I don't feel like you could put them in the Bethune box, because I feel like their arrangements have so much more color and diversity, and they play with a little bit more style. And I can see the FAMU comparison just based off like a bit of the texture of the sound, but to me it just sounds like a little bit brighter in a sense, like color wise than like a FAMU.
Right.
So I've seen a lot of that. So I see them still. You can tell they're still a Florida band at the end of the day. You can tell that, but I feel them carving out their own thing with their own sound, especially as they get larger. You know, I feel like they're definitely arranging for their size and playing for their size, because they're not taking a lot of risks in the music, and you can tell, but just like which parts had the melody here and who got chords there, they fit to what they are. Let me speak on Grambling. So Grambling, they sounded really good this year.
Good. Yeah.
I really like them. One thing I will say is they got to work on endurance, because like about song 3, 4, they started to go woo. The sound started to go all the way out. I'm like, okay. Right. So and I was thinking, like, dang, who in my head, I'm like, okay, I'm not saying Grambling will beat them, but looking at the SWAC, who can they beat? Right. And I'm like, okay, I feel like they can beat UAPB. I feel like they are able to beat PV.
Yeah.
I feel like they can compete with A&M from what we've seen so far. Yeah. I don't have them winning against Alabama State. Could it happen?
That would be
You
a
got,
good one.
you
We
see
got
what I'm
to,
saying?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
no, and then you got after that, you pretty much got the more powerhouse type bands. You have Jackson Southern, you got Texas Southern, you got Valley and Alcorn.
Right,
So,
right.
what I feel like their season is really up to them at this point.
Yeah, it really is. Like that's what I was thinking about when I saw Graham. I'm like, yo, this is one of the best Gremlins I've heard in the past 3-4 years.
Hmm.
So I'm excited to see where their season goes as well. Um, any highlight songs? Any other thing from that battle before we wrap it up or
No
move on?
highlights of songs for real. I think I enjoyed most of them. I enjoyed Gramblin's playbook too.
Mhm.
Um, the selection of the song because it, like you said, they was competing, so it was some type of back and forth.
Right.
Um, I would like to see more diversity in music from well, it's hard to say because they playing some diverse at Florida Memorial. They playing some diverse stuff compared to other schools,
Yeah.
right? So I want to see what they expand on more. So
Mhm.
that's how I put it.
Definitely. Definitely. I also want to see some. I want to see Florida Memorial get a little more ignorant. Not I'm talking about not cranking wise,
Hmm.
but song selection wise. Like I really want them to like get in there in their own kind of like way. Because I
Right.
feel I haven't seen that from them. But
Like something technical, like up tempo, something from them. Like we really don't
yeah,
get too much of that.
yeah, right, right, definitely. All right. Well, look, like we said, there weren't really that many matchups. We can talk about next week's predictions.
What we got?
Here we go. We should do these pretty fast. This what we think. This first one is very, very interesting. North Carolina Central versus Mississippi Valley.
Ooh.
That is, I don't know what bowl game this is. I don't know how did this happen, but this is going to be very interesting. I don't think these bands have ever came together. No,
That's
I don't
funny.
know. So I'm very excited to see that. What you
That's
think about Central versus Mississippi Valley?
Were they playing in a celebration mode?
No clue. No clue.
Okay.
Obviously, something set up. It's something that's set
No.
up by somebody.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Oh
that's just
shit. I think it's interesting. Like for me is Central has been in these situations before. They
yeah,
battled these type of bands. So
yeah.
and Mississippi Valley coming out, this their first year with Miguel Bonds as band director.
Mhm.
And last time we seen them from my like I would say we, but last team I seen them, but was National Battle of the Bands.
Right.
And they came out with something aggressive. And they had the other they had the game against Central. I
Yeah.
don't think had a fifth, but they had some songs they played. It came out real aggressive, real strong
Yeah.
with their sound. I feel like the sound could have improved in areas, but um it depends on for me this battle really how the song selection choice goes
Right.
and the cleanliness of both bands because I think Central can play some good songs, some diverse things, and mix it up and come out with a W.
Yes. I mean, exactly what I was gonna say. I think that I hope that they don't get the like I hope Mr. Bell like they don't get the big band like we're going up against like a small band type of syndrome because I think that they can really get sloppy and throw it away, especially if they've been working these past 3 weeks since the National Battle of Bands to kind of get better with their like because we're talking about them like with their phase and just being a new big band is like a whole different thing. So
Mm-hmm.
them coming out seeing a MEX school, they're like, oh well, we're about to like crush them, fuck around and find out. You know what I'm saying? Central is a little bit more put together. I saw them at A&T. They gave it A&T pretty well. So I think they're pretty battle tested. So that should be a good one. FAMU versus Alabama State.
This is a close one, man. I don't know.
Really?
To me, for and this is based on how these bands have battled each other in the past.
Okay.
We didn't see Alabama State really pull out anything too diverse or different what they've done earlier in their seasons.
Yeah.
I feel like we're gonna hear the neo soul songs that they dropped. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like we could hear another ballad and a rap tune here and there.
Right.
And I don't think we're really gonna hear anything that's going to be strategically going at FAMU. And what we see from FAMU is I'm not quite too sure. I would hope we would get some different selections than that they played at the
Mm-hmm.
Jackson game, or you at least clean those up a little bit and give them. I feel like FAMU this year needs some even in a FAMU way, some edge to them.
Right.
I think they because FAMU to me like maybe say '07 or '08 still had a presence and an edge to them, even though they still had that traditional FAMU style and flavor to them. I predict Alabama State winning this. Um, I really feel like, to be honest, the entertainment value of this battle more so relies on FAMU.
Yeah. Really?
Mm-hmm. And
Well, meaning like they got to give it up. I mean, like you got to give it something.
they'll have to do
Absolutely.
something different because I feel like with Alabama State they could put on a great showing for what they have came up with this season. I don't think it would be an entertaining fit. Like sometimes we see battles that are lopsided but still entertaining.
Right.
I don't think that could be the case with this type of matchup.
Definitely. I'll take Bama State. All right. Oh, this is a good one. We're just talking about this band. Grambling versus Texas Southern. Now, look, both of these bands are cooking.
Mm-hmm.
Cooking. I'm excited to see what Texas Southern comes out with. To me, like for over the past couple of years, they've been going up. I mean, just song selection crazy. So I'm excited to see what they do. I'm excited to see what Grambling comes out. I feel like, last week with UAPB was a good battle, but this they can really show it. Like they really like match well. I don't know. I got Texas Southern, but this is gonna be a good one. What you think?
I think you got it right with Texas Southern. I'm gonna tell you why. So I feel like Texas Southern, with their diverse song selection and their consistency in arrangements and how they're able to keep a diverse book throughout the entire fifth, I would say take Grambling out to the deep waters and make them drown. So make them play something complex in round 3, round 4, something like that, when their sound isn't as mature as it is as starting out in the fifth. And we really get a chance to see the depth of the book for both of these bands because I look at Grambling as taking this opportunity and rising to the occasion and trying to put something out there. Especially like they're competing this year. So I think it'll be an interesting fifth, a great fifth. We've seen Grambling against these big matchups with bigger names in the SWAC, and they've always come with something. So I'm excited for this.
Definitely. And you know what? I like what you did. I like what you did just there. Let's incorporate that into the list. So, are these bands competing? That's the like as we go further down. Alcorn versus Prairie View. Who's competing? Who's competing in that sense? Who's competing? Who's coming on top? I give it. I haven't really seen Alcorn this year.
I tried to sneak in a video before we started. I couldn't get it.
I'm gonna say Alcorn competing. Prairie View to me hasn't shown me enough in the past that they can get over Alcorn. What do you think?
I'm gonna put my faith in PV because of their showing against Texas Southern.
Yeah.
In the first game, and I feel like they will want to get better from that. And Alcorn hasn't seen a major opponent this season, and I felt like in recent times when Alcorn has faced these major opponents,
they slip up.
Yeah.
We talked about like a lot last season. Last season that Alcorn would get there and just drop the ball.
Right.
So let's see what they come up with this year. I'm excited to watch that battle. I mean, we got some good matchups next week. Jackson versus Bethune.
I don't think this is gonna happen. Is it? Where is it at? Is it in Bethune or is it?
I'm not sure.
Game.
I just got this.
It's a home game. It's the home game. It's the first home game.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. All right, real fast. Who's competing? St. Aug versus Bowie. I'm gonna say Bowie.
What? I don't even know. I'm
not
even gonna come up here and try to front.
Right.
I have to tell you. Oh yeah, St. Aug is doing. I have no clue what St. Aug is doing.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I have not seen any of these bands. Shaw versus Elizabeth City.
Did I watch Shaw? I watched Shaw last week against Benedict.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen Elizabeth City, so I'm gonna give it to Shaw.
I'm gonna give it to Liz. Fort Valley versus Kentucky State.
Oh, you seen Kentucky State this year?
No.
I have. They was already small, but it seemed like, Will Brooks, the band director, he went to Albany. It seemed like he took the trumpet section with him.
Mm-hmm.
but they got like 8 euphoniums. Like I want to put them around 8, 10 trombones,
Mm.
like 4 mellows, and like it don't look like more than 15 trumpets.
Wow.
And the quality is not like this really small Kentucky State we seen like around like 2017. That's
Yeah.
immersion. No, it's gone down to some quality, but it's still a good band. It's still a pretty good band. So with that said, I would definitely give it to Fort Valley.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna say Kentucky State. Lane versus Tuskegee. Lane.
Like
Morehouse versus Edward Waters.
I haven't seen Morehouse, man. Like a
I'm
lot.
gonna say Edward Waters. Just the
It was
style and everything. A lot of Atlanta bands. Are you guys competing? I don't know. I don't know if the Atlanta
I
bands are
don't
competing.
think so.
Speaking of that, Clark versus Miles. Come on now. Come on now. Yo, speaking of Clark, I
Mhm.
remember during the pandemic, there was a video of one of the drum majors that came out saying that throughout the pandemic, it was hard to encourage the band members to continue to come to practice and to like continue to show like love for the band. So every
Yeah,
time I think about Clark Atlanta, I think about that video. Like, I mean, that's a hard position for your band to be in. It's like losing enthusiasm for the program, losing like you're already a small band, and then because when you have a small band, practices mean a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like people not showing up to practice
right,
is everything. Like and we both been in bigger bands, so we know like with sections of 10 or deep or more, like you can kind of, you can hide, you can kind of, but now when you got 4 people, bro,
yeah,
y'all got to be there, and everybody got to be there because we have to know that this is going to be right. Like
right,
we can't depend on 8 other people. So
right.
shout out to Clark.
Think
Um,
you at your dorm room, look, your whole band, all 6 of them, like we,
exactly. Albany State versus Savannah State.
ooh,
I'm
ooh.
gonna say Albany State. Savannah State,
I'm
they don't
Savannah.
compete to me. They don't
They
compete.
don't.
No.
You okay? I think I don't know. I seen them against Bethune, and I don't know if that was them or if they was just trying to make fun of Bethune or
No.
being Bethunes. Like this is
That's
how
not
we.
that's not a way to win.
What
Not at all.
they're thinking about compete. I don't know, dude.
Right. Yeah. Are you competing or are you thinking about competing? Okay. Livingstone versus Virginia State. Virginia State.
Virginia State.
Virginia State is very battle tested, man. Like this is a small band that is feisty. You know what I'm saying? And they can open up when it's like big for them. Like when it's showtime, they really can
Right.
deliver. Um, and that's something that should be commended with Virginia State. Lincoln versus John C. Smith. I'm gonna say John C.
What is
Smith
the status of these
just
programs?
because I'm in Charlotte, but I'm in Charlotte and I have not seen John C. Smith at all. I know some people that march in the band, so that's why I'm gonna go with them.
Okay.
But okay, guys, okay, great week, week 3 of this season.
Mm-hmm.
Are you competing? We're gonna be back next week to recap all the HBCU bands battles like we just went over. I'm excited, man. I'm excited for the rest of the season. Um, we had some great matchups. Like we talked about earlier, it was some heavier loaded matchups the last 2 weeks. So
Right.
of course we kind of like relax this week, but next week, as we just read, we're gonna have some great battles to come back and review for you guys. So shout out to Face Off. It's a Face Off on all social media. You can follow me at Horatio Radio on all social platforms, Manny.
And you can follow me on Twitter at mind mind_mind MINE75 on Twitter.
Boom, boom. We appreciate you guys. Make sure you follow us all, and we'll see you guys next week.
See y'all next week.